Hey, if you like this video, just click subscribe and the notification button like this. All right. So this is part two on my portrait display, uh, custom, I guess, portrait display. I'm gonna go over first a couple of things that I used to make the display that I didn't show on part one. And by the way, if you haven't seen part one of this video, just go ahead and watch it first and then come back to this video. Um, but yeah, well, let me show you a couple of things. I'll start with the foam, this pink foam. I got at Home Depot. It's not that expensive. This is the 2 inch. They sell a thinner one that's 1 inch. It's very easy to cut. You can cut it with a knife. I use different types of knives, depending how you're trying to cut it. If you want like a rough texture, or if you want like this cleaner texture, it just depends how you cut it. This is the one that I use for the Craven, custom Craven base I made. I wanted more like a rough terrain texture, so I left it like this. But as far as cutting, it's very easy to cut. Like you can see here, you just go and you can just cut it like that. And gives you more of a you can make like diagonal cuts. Depending on what you're trying to achieve, what you want the foam to look like. You can make it look like, dirt or just rough terrain to like some rocks. It's very easy to glue. So you're gonna see like some of them have to glue it to, make it look like more like a rock. Okay, so this is the foam. Also, I use silicone and cornstarch. Again, this is very cheap material. Doesn't cost that much. And if you've seen the Venom base, not the base, the portrait display, I actually combined different sections of this. I glued it together. But for the portrait, I actually had to create a mold. And I'll put some pictures here on the side so you can see it. And it's very easy to make it. You just 100% silicone and cornstarch. And the mix is 1:1. So if you use 3 spoons of silicone, you just get 3 spoons of cornstarch, plus or minus a little bit, depending how it feels. And you just mix it together, and it becomes like a putty, more like Play-Doh consistency. And then you spread it in the hole that I cut it on this foam, and you put a portrait on it, and you create a mold. It dries pretty quick, so you just have to be fast. It dries in about, depending how much you're dealing with, sometimes in 5 to 15 minutes, depending again how much you're using. Then, this is something that I also used on the Venom portrait stand, is just regular expanding foam. Because this foam is pretty good, but sometimes you're trying to create put it together. Sometimes it's just easier to combine it with some of this foam to create a more realistic look. As you can see, there's an old can I had here. I lost the sprayer, so I just poked a hole under it and just end up using the whatever was left over here. End up being just enough. And then this paint, I only use this one on the Venom portrait because I want to like more of a glossy look to it in a different texture. So I use this one, and it's the same paint I used on the metal here for my statue display. If you've seen that video, you've probably seen this paint before. Again, it's pretty cheap, probably like $5-6 on Lowe's. And oh, I don't know if I went over this one, but this is the regular paint that I use for the foam, and that's the one I use for the other portraits. I just use this one. It's color sample. I asked them for the darkest black they can make, and they'll mix it for you, and they'll sell it for like, I don't know, $3-4, maybe $5. It's not that expensive, and it's plenty. That's it. Like I said, I'm no artist, so if you're like me, you don't have much money or talent, this is a good project to do at home on the weekend. It's pretty easy and quick, actually. It just took me a little bit longer because you had to wait for the silicone to dry, the paint to dry, and all that, but you know, it's not that hard. Okay, let's take another break now and continue with the video. Okay, so that's the foam I used. I already cut the pieces the way I wanted. That's for Morbius. And this is for Carnage, Venom, and Lizard. This one I had to combine 3 pieces. This is just silicone with cornstarch. Mix it 1-to-1. And you create a mold so it sits there. There's a magnet on the back, and kind of put it together like that. And I'm gonna put some foam around it now and sculpt again. Okay, take a break now. Okay, I just want to mention a couple things about the silicone mold. I want to show a couple pictures close up. Once you create the mold, you put the portrait to mold the silicone. Just remove the portrait. Don't leave it there until the silicone dries. That's one thing. And then after, once everything's done, before you paint or start cutting it a little bit more of the shape that you want, test fit the portrait, make sure it's all good. And the magnet, if you're using magnets to hold your portrait, just make sure the polarity is correct. You want it to hold your portrait, not repel it. But you can see in the pictures here, I didn't show, me mixing it, but it's just basically mixing the silicone with the cornstarch. Maybe on my next video I'll show that part of the process, but I'm trying to keep this video kind of short. Okay. Okay, now it's getting a little bit messy. I use the expandable foam, and the trick is to just keep doing this until it kind of dries. It's kind of time consuming. So you get this more rough effect instead of the shiny. And it's starting to dry, so it's getting thicker. Oops. Okay, I'll keep doing. It's kind of sticky now. Take another break. All right, so starting to dry now, and as it dries, I keep doing this to create a different texture, because you don't want to like all bubbly and round. I mean, unless that's what you want, but I don't like it. I like it like more like this. You'll see. I'm gonna let it dry for maybe a day or so. By the way, this is a old can of expanding foam. I just put a hole in the back because I lost the sprayer, but still works. Well, let me fix this one before it dries. Okay, so it should be I'm gonna just stretch it that way. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry, and I'll continue tomorrow. Wow. I think it's pretty much dry now. I noticed all the work that I did to create some texture didn't really stay the way I wanted to stay. This thing kept growing and have those bubbles all around. But that's fine. Again, I've never done this before, so I'm gonna just take it out of there and start, cutting the way I want it and create some texture on it. Okay. Okay, time for another break. Okay, I'm just gonna keep this video kind of short. I don't want it to drag it too long, so I'm gonna skip some parts. They're pretty easy to explain. So after the foam dried up, I cut some texture, some designs on it to make it look like a rock. And then this last step here now, not last step, the step that I just finished, just spray some primer so the paint gets to the foam a little bit better. And let me see also how the texture is gonna look once it's painted. I'm already painting the other ones. As you can see, I just use like the sample paint from Lowe's. And I'm putting the first coat of black. I'm not really sure what color I'm gonna paint the whole thing, but I'll usually do a base coat of black anyway. So okay, take another break now and put another coat. Okay, here it is. I put some tape there to cover the silicone areas. I didn't want to get paint on the silicone. Yeah, it looks okay. I already took the other ones inside after painting black. And it actually looks pretty good just black without the highlights. I was gonna paint it like I did the scorpion statue, make it look like rocks, but I'm starting to like the black color. So just going back here, I used that paint to put a coat of black all over, and then I use my black spray paint, which is this one. You can see my videos before. The same paint that I use for the statue display. And what it does, it's a better paint, it's a little bit stronger, and it's a little bit more glossy, and you can get to parts where you can get with the brush, and gives it like a different texture as well. So I just combined both. So yeah, I'm gonna take it inside, and I'm gonna put the portraits on it and see how it looks with the portraits on it. Let's see how it's gonna look like. All right, so it's done. Let's take a closer look. I'm pretty happy with it. I like that I left the base black. I think it makes the portraits pop a little bit more. And this one, Venom, Carnage, the lizard. Actually came out better than I thought it was gonna be. The way the glossy paint kind of mixed with the other one, it does match the Venom and Carnage really well. I really wish the manufacturers, would just sell the statues with stands. I'll pay a little bit more. I mean, if you look at the Black Widow has a really nice one. It's really cool. Well, it's more than a stand, it's a bust and a stand under. It's pretty cool, but I hated just leaving this stuff in a box. So that's the coolest part of the statue. To me, a lot of times it's the portraits, and I want to be able to display them. So this is a easy, basic solution for somebody that doesn't want to spend that much money or doesn't really have much talent and wants to just do something simple to display their portraits. I mean, they're not going to stay there. I have a few statues on pre-order, so I'll be getting them. I have Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Hulk, so they're gonna fit in that area. So I'll find a different place for it. Oh, I forgot to show you this one. That's something I didn't show previously, but that's for the black cat. I completely forgot about her. And again, this one's pretty simple. That's why I didn't really have much to show. I just carved or cut the foam to fit the head, and I keep it there. So I really like the way it came out too. Yeah, I may be doing a few more because I'm getting more statues. So I'll keep getting more extra portraits. So I'll be doing the same thing for the other ones. I've done with the base for Carnage, repainting it, and then I finished the base for Craven as well, and painting the lion. Those are all gonna be separate videos, so if you wanna see any of those, the videos may or may not be out yet. If it's not, it's gonna be out soon. Or just check back, it should be there. Some of those videos I do at the same time, different parts, so they're not all done at the same time. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. Oh, that's the lights. They are motion sensor lights. So the same thing with the display. If you want to see how the display was made, just check one of my older videos and it shows there. Okay, that's about it. And as usual, if you have any questions or comments, just type below and I'll get back to it as soon as possible. One final look. That is all. And thank you.